Welcome to What Talent Podcast. Today we have a special guest here. Corlan Beasley is a seasoned sports professional with 18 years of experience in coaching, training, and recreation. He holds a Master of Science in Sports Management from Valdosta State University and has worked with athletes with at the college professional and youth levels across several southeastern states. In 2020, he founded CBA Elite Groups to develop athletes and promote sports excellence. His leadership has earned him a grant from Good Sports and featured in State Farm Atlanta Hawks commercial. Corlan remains committed and expanded his impact on youth athletes. What's going on, Beasley?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for having me.
No problem. So how did you get into sports management? What made you decide to say, I want to major in sports management?
Basically, once my days of playing or trying to play had ended, I wanted to stay around the game as much as I could, and then to give kids something that I didn't have or somebody that would help them along the way. So I decided to go into that realm of it. Within sports management, you can manage sports, but you can also become agents. You could be directors of college athletics. There's a lot of different avenues and pathways that you could take, but it was just the area that I chose to go into, so I enjoy it.
Okay, so why not? I know you're doing recreational. Why not do like college? Why come down to recreational?
Well, I came down to the recreation because I actually worked for a couple of colleges, and I was doing it with schools that worked brick and mortar, so they didn't have athletic teams. And so when I fell into recreation, I just decided to stay in that path and work my way up.
Okay. So how did you get your first kid to?
The first kid, well, I actually did some coaching before I came into recreation.
Okay.
So I was always around kids, coaching and doing different stuff like that. And I worked with a guy you may have heard of, Swain Basketball. I started with him.
Right.
And we worked at the Atlanta Sports Academy together. And I was a coach, he was a coach. And we started, training kids and working with kids. So I kind of took what he kind of gave me the blueprint to do, and I built my own.
Okay.
But I started with him, and it's just falling in love with the process of training and working with the kids, and I always wanted to give back in a way that it would be impactful. And I always tell kids you have to find the value within you to become something great.
Right. So when it comes down to you coaching, how long you was coaching before you decided, let me just start training kids strictly?
I coached for about 5 years before I started just training kids strictly. Yeah.
Why you don't want to coach no more? You just don't like it no more?
No, I think I do want to coach, but like I said, I have kids of my own now, so I don't have the time to put into it the way I used to put into it when I didn't have children.
Do you feel like your kids will be into sports like you are?
Unfortunately, my daughter is 10. She hates basketball. My son is 6, and he's still kind of getting his feet wet, but I think he'll be the one for me that'll play.
What do you look for in an athlete to know, this kid has potential?
I look for character. That's first and foremost. I look to see if they're coachable. And then just their work ethic. That's the thing that separates all of us from being good, great, or better, is we have to have the right mindset and the attitude to pursue it.
Yeah. So if that's the case, a kid may have that, but what if the parent doesn't have that? How do you try to instill consistency into the kid to keep doing it?
Well, I think one of the prime things is what I tell a lot of my parents is that he or she has to find that love of the game for themselves. Once they find it for themselves, you don't have to worry about getting them practice. You don't have to worry about them finishing their suicides or making their free throws. Once they find that love for the game for themselves, then they'll go. They'll push all the way through.
Okay. Now, as a parent, you are a parent of a young boy. Let's just say you are a well-known NBA player, kind of like LeBron James.
Yeah.
How would you feel about this whole LeBron James and Bronny Jr. situation?
That's a crazy subject. You hear about it all the time, all the stuff that happened with Stephen A. Smith and that whole dialogue that took place. But I think for most coaches and most parents, you have to look at it in a different way.
Okay.
And the way I say that is I was around NBA player Jarvis Hayes. His son played through our recreation center a few years back. And I went to a game and I watched him interact with his son while he was on the court.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say a word. He watched the game. He was patient, this and that. I pulled him to the side and I asked him a question. I said, well, how did you do that? He said he had to find his love for the game.
Mm-hmm.
We have our pep talks in the car, before the game, after the game, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when he gets on the court, I let him do his thing. I'll say, well, you did that good, you did that bad. But during the game, I let him play, let him be himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you have a kid that has aspirations to do those type of things, I think you kind of have to sit back, let them find their love for the game, let them make their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think you need to push them to the forefront of like, I know my kid is better than several people that are already in the league because you put a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
So just let it play out. If he has what it takes, it'll eventually come around.
But so I personally feel like he named him a junior,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that he already was somebody coming out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and he already had a target on his back already.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he was ready to leave college just yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he put a pressure on him to leave college. And he may not say, no, it's up to him or whatnot, but on the real, he really did put pressure on him because he wasn't ready. I don't think he's ready for the NBA just yet.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to like people, you playing with your son.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to people criticizing your son,
Mm-hmm.
you as a parent is no longer... You can't go to nobody saying, stop talking about my son or whatever, because he's now a professional athlete and he's a young man.
Right.
He's grown.
And you kind of created that atmosphere
for that to happen.
Yeah, and he's in.
So you trying to make him the next face of NBA, basically.
Right.
But he's not ready.
Right.
That's why I like Carmelo Anthony. Well, I'm a big fan of Carmelo Anthony, but I'm a big fan of how he moving with Cayenne.
Yeah.
Like, he's not doing too much. He's there at the games or whatnot, but like, I like how his game developed from time to time, and everybody's not really paying attention to Cayenne.
Right.
But Cayenne is gonna be like that guy.
Yeah.
So, if you're a parent nowadays, what is something that you will try to do different from what you see?
I think, like I said, just putting them in those situations. Like I said, if it's the game that you love to play, you want to see your child do it, put them into it. But you also want to put them in other sports, other activities, because he may or may not be, or he or she may or may not be good at that particular sport.
Right.
So you have to let them find their own way. Once they gravitate, find what it is they love to do, they'll become good at it over the period of time of you working with them or whatever it is. If it's basketball, football, baseball, being a musician, playing the piano, whatever it is, you have to put them in those different areas so that they can thrive in those areas and let them find their own way.
That's true. So would you feel like it is important for a child to be in, once they decide they have a love for basketball, is it important for them to be in AAU and then play like school ball? Like,
I think I like the foundation of AAU, but again, it takes away from the fundamentals.
Okay.
If you can shoot, if you can pass, you can dribble. If you do those at a high level, more than likely you're going to be a great basketball player, along with the other intangibles. But in order for them to figure that out, they have to play. They have to do the fundamentals. They have to learn how to play the game. Once they learn how to play the games, those intangibles will come out, right? But you have to give them an opportunity to do those things to become what they're going to become. You know, basketball may not be it.
Right.
Maybe baseball, maybe something else. But you have to allow them. That's why playing different sports as you're growing up kind of helps along the way. Then once they get the fundamentals of it, and then I think going into AAU and then playing on your high school team or your middle school team or whatever are the steps that should be taken. I don't think they should be pushed to go to AAU because it's like a higher level of basketball. And if they can't compete, then guess what? Some people are like, I don't want to play anymore. There's a whole lot of things that go along with it.
I feel like once I do start having children, they ain't got no choice. They playing sports. It don't matter what sport it is. Are you on a piano or something? You doing something, because I feel like it teach kids how to be disciplined in a way. Yeah. And then like some type of structure or whatnot. So
and it holds them accountable.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of coach they got too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because we know we've been around some coaches that terrible.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a great coach.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, because kids keep coming back. So I think I'm doing something. But when you think about your son, what are the things that you like? Would you feel like you would want to coach him by the time he get older if he wanted to play it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Carmelo on that side. I think I've seen clips where Carmelo worked with Cayenne. He did some different stuff with him, but he
Mhm.
was training with other people. And
Mhm.
then Melo kind of just stood in the shadows, watched him develop, watched him grow, and once he found that love for it,
Mhm.
I think you can kind of step in and do your coaching because,
Mhm.
like I said, especially if you reach that magnitude of the NBA or anything to that high level,
Mhm.
there's an expectation that you're going to have for your son. It's kind of hard if he's not ready or prepared for
Mhm.
that type of coaching. So I think they have to feel it, figure it out, and then you can step in and kind of do some things with them.
So when I think about the kids that I coach,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever experienced any kid like disappointing you? Like they got so much potential, like they can be so great, they could be good. All they got to do is just really apply themselves,
Yeah.
and they don't even do the bare minimum. Not only that, the parents don't even do the bare minimum and push them a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's difficult a lot of times when people come into training sessions or they've seen some of your work or they've seen some of the players that you've worked with and they
Mhm.
have this expectation. My son can do that.
Mhm.
But they don't know about the hours that are unseen where he was here at 5 in the morning, he was here running hills, he was here
Mhm.
shooting free throws. All those different things play a part in that growth and that development. And it doesn't happen overnight. It
Mhm.
has to be consistency. It has to be a level of I have an expectation, and they
Mhm.
have to kind of find that confidence.
Mhm.
Once they find that confidence, then you have to say what is your value, right?
Mhm.
And there's a lot of kids that aren't 6'6", 6'7". They're 5'11", 5'10", but
Mhm.
there's still a value that's inside of that kid. You have to
Mhm.
pull that value out, and they have to be willing to show that day in and day out, right? Once you start playing basketball, if you say, hey, I'm going to play till I'm a senior or whatever, and I hope things work out,
Mhm.
you got to give it your all for the 4 years.
Mhm.
Somebody's always working.
Yeah.
And it's a global game. There's kids that are great. There's kids that are, decent. But if you can shoot, if you can pass, you can dribble,
Mhm.
you can play the game basketball at a high level.
But that be the bare minimum. So like kids like Corlan, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he got so much potential and he knows he got potential,
Mm-hmm.
but the boy lazy.
Yeah. Well, you can't be lazy. You can't be lazy. That will affect you in the long run.
Mhm.
Now, right now, he may be head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah.
But if you don't continue to work, they're gonna catch up.
Yeah. He I'm trying to get him out of that space, but he also in a space where he want his homeboys to be with him. I'm like, sometimes you gotta lead them.
Yeah. You can't
'Cause
take everybody with you.
you can't. And that's the same thing I'm trying to instill into like Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
He has gotten way much better, and he's
Yeah.
way much taller. The boy like 6 foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got way much taller. Yeah,
Okay.
he like almost close to Carlin, about 6'2". He right there with him.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to get. I guess I know how to win, and the things that you have to do to win, you got to really like go win. Like it's no days off.
No.
And I be thinking about, man, if half of these kids just apply themselves like Deontay.
Yeah.
The boy can defense.
Yeah.
Can't nobody stop him.
Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way I had him playing on offense,
Mm-hmm.
he can.
Yeah.
He's like a little Derrick Rose to me.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade / Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
He just can't dunk.
Yeah.
Or
He
he
thinks he
can
can.
dunk. He's very scared. Like he's a pretty boy, but they get overlooked
Mm-hmm.
because of, first of all, his height,
Mm-hmm.
and then he really didn't apply himself.
Mm. But there's intangibles that coaches look for,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you can run a team,
Mm-hmm.
no turnovers,
Mm-hmm.
communication,
Mm-hmm.
and then your body language from beginning to end. No matter what's going on around you, if you're positive, if you're upbeat, you're a great teammate,
Mm-hmm.
those are different things that you can't coach. You can't coach hard work. You can't coach showing up every day, doing what you need to do to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that people like to see. And if you're 5'10" or something like that, you got to hang your hat on one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to shoot the mid-range. Don't turn the basketball over. Play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
There's still an opportunity for you to play at the next level. But everybody that goes to college scored 25 points or more in high school. They're all great.
Yeah.
But when you get to college, you have to learn to be a team player.
Mm-hmm. It's totally different when you get to college.
Yeah.
I told Deontay, I said, well, at least if you go to college for 1 year, play 1 full year and go overseas and then work that way or whatnot. But when you training folks, what is something you like when you pay attention and when you first see them, like, they need to work on? Like, how did you gain that? Like,
you can see it from the beginning. Like I said, there's certain things that I do. Like I may do a drill and say, okay, I need to see if he can dribble. Then of course you're gonna be able to see real easy if he can shoot or not. Then you can see how aggressive he is. Does he take care of the basketball? Does he hang his head when certain things happen or whatever? And you have to kind of turn them up and say, we need to get away from that. We got to play the next play. We got to stay focused. And all the kids that you name, I work with on behalf of you. And a lot of them actually got better as they were consistently coming. And so, like I said, I just hone in on those fundamental skills. And then if they're athletic, if they have growth spurs, they have height, those are all intangibles that come along with it to go with the dribble, pass, shoot. So then you add all of that together and you have a recipe for a great kid, but they have to continue to work.
Okay. So when you was in high school, what position did you play?
I was a point guard and I played off the ball just a little bit for the
Which
team.
one you prefer better?
I preferred off the ball because I got used to doing it, but I didn't have the size to be, a dominant two guard at the next level.
Okay.
So you have to look at those different intangibles too. So if a kid's like 6'1", 6'2" now, he's going to a senior year, more likely he's probably not going to grow. So once he gets to the college, it depends on if it's a Division II or Division I, he's probably going to be asked to be a PG. So then we need to work on his ball handling skills. We got to look past what he is now and say, this is what we need you to be at the next level.
All right.
Yeah. So
that's how you got to train folks, though. You gotta really think about, like, for example, Brandon ain't gonna get no more than 6'3", 6'4".
Right.
He's not gonna be a big. For some reason, for the life of me, the boy want to be a big. I was like, no, you're not gonna be a big. You finna be a guard.
But at that size, he could kind of have the mid-range. He can kind of do some post-ups on the smaller guards that come against him. So he can utilize some of those big skills or whatever, as he's playing along. But understanding that is, not a detriment, but this is the gifts, the intangibles that God gave you.
Yeah.
So this is where we stop at. So we got to hone that up to make sure it is what it needs to be.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. But he ain't gonna be no big. I'm gonna tell you that.
No.
He wanna be like Jokovic or something like that.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't want to be that. No. You don't want to do that.
No, Brandon can shoot. So Brandon needs to, continue to work on that, the inside out. Like I said, he'll be able to post up some of the smaller guards. So in that regard, yeah, you can play a little big, but you're a guard.
This how much. I'm not saying I'm rushing to have children, but this how much I'm like rushing to have a child. Because at this point, I be like, we finna go to training. We finna go. It's like agility training, and then you need to go to basketball training.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have different training. Then we finna be in the gym. At this point, we finna be in the gym every day.
Yeah, every day.
We finna get some work. If you say you want to do this, that's how much I feel like you should do it.
Yeah.
But I really can't because they're not my kids. I can't really.
And you got to understand, too, like I said, once you start having kids, and you're like, yeah, I got that, da-da-da. And then, yeah, Dad, I don't want to do it. You're like,
they gonna play a sport. I don't care what it is.
I mean, my daughter, it broke my heart. I was like, dang. And then one day she said she was trying out for the team. I was like, yes. She came in, she slammed her bag down. She said, yeah, I didn't make it. I said, but you really didn't work. I didn't even know you were trying out for the team. I said, so let's work. She went to the gym twice. She said, yeah, I'm done. I was like, man.
But then as a parent, do they not make you feel like maybe you need to push her a little bit, even though she don't want to do it?
Well, I don't. Like I said, and I'm in the gym all the time, so she sees me in the gym all the time. So she'll come in, she'll look around. And I had a young lady that I trained. She ended up getting a scholarship going to Erskine College in, I think it's South Carolina, North Carolina, one or two. And she's doing well. So she liked her, and she was like, oh, Dad, I think I can do that. So she sees it, but she has to see herself in it. And maybe, she'll come back around, but I try not to force it.
Anybody that you have trained is very well known?
Yeah. I got a few of those.
What's their names?
You want me to give away the secret sauce? I've trained. I got a guy currently right now at the University of Utah. His name is Ezra Asar.
Okay.
I've trained Elias Harden.
Okay.
I did a little bit of work with Cayenne Anthony when I was with Swain basketball.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity to work with Josh Okogie. Had
Okay.
the opportunity to work with Al Tariq Gilbert. Just a few of the names or whatever. I don't want to put too much out there, but I had the opportunity to work with a bunch of great guys.
Okay. So since you don't want to put too much, I ain't gonna say her name then. I ain't gonna say her name, but he was working with a LSU guard.
Yeah. I did a little bit
Yeah.
with a LSU guard and
We ain't
a
gonna
couple
say
other
too
folks.
much on it though.
Yeah.
But when you decided to give up on basketball, what was your mind going through?
It's really difficult because I think for a lot of times you think you're gonna play it for a long time, maybe not to the professional level, but as you get older and you're like, I can't really do it anymore. You really do go through a period of withdrawals, and you're like, what am I gonna do with the rest of my life and this and that, because it was just you love the game that much. My uncles played, my brothers played, and we was just a basketball household, and that's just what we did. So getting into the space of coaching, getting into the space of training, and seeing kids that are coming up to say, I want to play this game, it kind of gave you that energy to say, okay, I can put all of that stuff to the side and focus on helping somebody else get to a level that I wasn't able to accomplish. And when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of gyms that I could go to, didn't have a lot of people that I could kind of say, hey, show me how to do this, show me how to do that. And so for me, having that knowledge and being able to pass it on to somebody else, it's like it's a gift. You know what I'm saying? When you've done all you can do, you teach. And so I just try to give it back in that way.
I think the day I realized, so I graduated high school, and then I went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went out to the coach. I was like, are y'all looking for any positions or whatnot? And he was like, no, it's already filled up. At that point, it was like I was done.
Yeah.
Because I already had endured like an injury my sophomore year, tore my ACL.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. But I did come back and play for the high school team. But I don't think it was that. I don't think I wanted to play anymore. After somebody told me no one time, I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I understand as far as mentally it took a toll on me when I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
So, when you decided, did you get like recruited in high school?
I did. I was really good at football.
No, why you didn't go football route? Then you could have.
I just did not want to deal with the spring practice, because at one point in time I was a freshman in high school. I was had scored a touchdown. All these different things were happening or whatever. We used to have spring practice. Well, during spring practice, I was going to play in 3-on-3 tournaments, doing this. I didn't want to go to spring practice. So the love for basketball had kind of taken over for football. I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to go to preseason workouts. I just want to focus on basketball. So, but looking back at it now, I probably should have took that route, got my scholarship, got everything taken care of, played and been done with it, and probably been happy. But I just love the game of basketball and wanted to do it. All my uncles played in college and stuff like that. So that was the route that I wanted to take.
Okay. So, when you got recruited, who was like do you remember the colleges that was recruiting you?
It was mainly junior colleges and a couple of prep schools. I didn't have any major D1 offers or anything like that, no.
Okay. How you feel about prep school nowadays?
I like prep schools, and I actually, worked at a prep school. And one of the things that I would tell people is it depends on what you're going for, right? If you need more film, by all means, take advantage.
Okay.
If you're trying to go to get qualified to get into school, I wouldn't take a prep school route. I would just go ahead and go to a junior college because sometimes the prep schools cost just as much. If you're going to a junior college, you're already on scholarship. They're paying for everything.
Okay.
So the prep school, your mom's still paying money for you to do this, do that, so on and so forth, to take these classes. And then you still got to get to that junior college level or the next level that you're going to.
Okay.
And so you may not receive enough film to get an offer even going that route. So if you got a junior college thing on the table, take the junior college route and work your way around now. But, with the changes in the NCAA rules for the junior college, they still got 4 years of eligibility left, even after they finish junior college.
So you got to sign up for stuff to get eligibility?
No, I'm saying there's a new rule now for junior college to the point where, you played 2 years, you usually only have 2 years of eligibility left.
Right.
But you can play 2 years and still have 4
years
eligibility left.
Anybody got time to be in there for 17 years
these
now.
NIL deals and stuff, people aren't in a hurry to come out.
Get your money. Get your money.
So,
all right. So we're going to play this game. Well, you're going to first tell me who your top 5 GOATs basketball, and then we're going to play the game this and that.
Top 5 GOATs. I'm going to say Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
LeBron James.
Boo.
Allen Iverson. What's that, 4?
Okay.
And man, I got to go with Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. You had me at all 4 of them but 1.
Oh, you don't like LeBron?
It's don't say I don't like him. It's more like I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of LeBron James like that. Because I look at it like this. They like to compare him to Michael Jordan, which is they shouldn't compare him to Michael Jordan. They are totally 2 different people, and they played in 2 different eras. But I feel like when it's time for him to show up, he don't show up. Like, he in the Final Four and you pass the ball off and it's the last few seconds of the game, but you supposed to be the GOAT.
Yeah. Well, I think it just comes down to having that killer instinct. I think Jordan had a killer instinct. He wanted to score. He wanted the ball. LeBron's more of a team-oriented guy. He's going to pass first, try to do the intangibles. Just more of I would say, a complete basketball player.
Okay.
But it depends on what you're looking for. And, in my era, it was the dominant player who wanted to take the last shot, who said, you know what, there's no I in team, but there is in win. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he was that guy that took on that mantra and just said, no, give me the ball and get out the way. So, we like that. LeBron's kind of
definitely not like
and
that.
then the route that he took, he's played on several super teams and did this and did that. And people say, well, Jordan had Pippen, this and that, and so on and so forth. But it was a natural order. They drafted Pippen. They had him in the lineup. It wasn't like he went out and said, hey, let me get Dwayne Wade, let me get Chris Bosh. We're on the same team. We're going to go run shop. So, yeah. But I think he is a great, phenomenal player along with those guys.
I ain't going to take away from what he has done. I just don't feel like he wouldn't be my top 5. He wouldn't be like my, everybody talking about he the GOAT. That's like, to me, he's not in my GOAT conversation. Yeah. He's just not. But we're going to get into the game, this or that. You ready?
Yeah.
Tony Parker, Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Tim Duncan or Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille
O'Neal. Kevin Hart or Mike Epps.
Kevin Hart.
Carmelo Anthony or what is his name? I want to say whatchamacallit brother, Cheryl Miller brother. What is his name?
Reggie Miller?
Yeah, Reggie Miller.
Man, Carmelo Anthony.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do. I already know you're gonna pick AI, so I'm not gonna put AI against nobody. Kyrie or AI?
I think. Yeah, I'm going AI.
Their game is kind of similar, but I think I love me some AI. AI is my guy, but Kyrie handles it way much better.
Yeah, of course. Iverson, if you notice and you go back and look, and he'll say it himself, he couldn't go left, right? If he went to the left, he was still doing a right hand layup. I mean, it was just one of his weaknesses. But I mean, he was just dominant from start to finish, and I just loved his game. He was the best small guard that I had seen in a long time. So I was just him hands down.
That's another one that probably could have played football too.
Yeah.
He was good at football too.
Yeah.
Michael Vick or Donovan McNabb?
Michael Vick?
Peyton Manning or Drew Brees?
I go Peyton.
Okay. That's a boo. Who that all day? Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes?
I'm gonna go Lamar, even though Lamar doesn't have any championships as of yet.
So that qualifies you as a GOAT?
I think who he is and what he's done, his resume.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. I mean, there's no championships there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think with what the body of work that he's done, I think it does qualify.
So I be feeling like when it comes down to like sports or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta have a ring, it'd be like what's the man name the show with Shaquille O'Neal? Charles Barkley. He don't have any rings, but I feel like he was a good player back then.
Oh man, definitely. I mean, for his size, you gotta think about it. Charles wasn't 6'7", 6'8".
But then they don't think about him. They don't even talk about him as far as because he don't have no rings, and I don't feel like.
I think your legacy extends when you have championships.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think when you stop playing or when you retire, people recognize you, don't see you, but if you have rings, I think that a legacy continues to extend just because you have championships. And you mentioned, when they have the next champion, it's like, oh, well, you wasn't the Chicago Bulls in 96, 97, but you're on that conversation as far as the championship. So I think that extends your legacy.
And another thing, when they be comparing LeBron and Michael Jordan, that man retired 2 times. He retired 2 times. He would have definitely surpassed the 50,000, 50 points.
But you got to think about it, too. If he had came out of high school, LeBron came out of high school. So he been playing for a lot longer than Jordan has.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he definitely would have surpassed the points.
It's a lot of things that they got to think about it, too. And it was Detroit Pistons. It was totally against Michael Jordan. They was pulling him out the air. They're not doing that to LeBron.
No. They're not doing that anymore.
You touch him, they be like,
yeah.
Foul. That's another thing, too. And I hate how NBA is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like everybody just want to jack up some threes. And it got to the younger kids, so they feel like that's all they need to do. I'm like, no, y'all need to go to the basket.
Yeah. Well, I think we got to blame Steph for that.
Yeah, I'm blaming him for that.
Yeah.
I'm blaming him for that. But
I think even he'll say to play the game the right way, we need to start inside out.
Yes.
But, I mean, he's a professional now. He's got coming up on close to 4,000 3-pointers made.
Mm-hmm.
So he's continuing a trend that is not really helping the game grow.
But yeah, think about it. Everybody ain't no real centers no more. Don't nobody really want to be a center anymore. Everybody want to jack up threes. They want to stay on the outside. I literally was watching an NBA game. Everybody was around the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Nobody inside the basket. Like, nobody trying to get a rebound.
Well, I mean, the bad part about it is, I mean, it's good and it's bad, but the bad part about it is when you get a guy that's 6'8", 6'9", if he can't shoot the three, scouts consider that, he's a weakness. He needs to work on his outside shot, which before that would have never came into play. We need his butt to the basket, rebound, do those type of intangibles. The Charles Oakleys of the day, and Ben Wallace's and guys like that. Yeah, we don't have guys that do that anymore.
Yeah. I miss them type of guys though.
Yeah.
Cause they was willing to, do whatever they need to do to get that rebound.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the current WNBA scene?
I think with the WNBA, I know you're a fan, but as long as we don't have women that are supporting the game, you guys can't grow your game.
I think right now, so surprisingly, I was watching Unravel. Have you watched it? I enjoyed it. And it surprised me as much as support as it's getting. But I don't, because I'm an Angel Reese fan, LSU fan, anything Louisiana I'm a fan of.
Oh, okay.
So it gets on my nerves when it's a Angel Reese versus Clayton Clark situation. I just can't do it. And then it's getting outrageous when they come at her. So the game is growing. But when men be like, all y'all need to do is dunk, I don't think that's what.
No. I think the women's game is the best game that you can watch for the fundamentals. They're going to pass first. It's gonna be team involvement, right? With the female athlete is different than the male athlete. You know, the male athlete, if he think he got it, he want to take over. The female athlete is gonna pass. She's gonna do what she needs to do to get her teammates involved, and it's a beautiful game to watch. The women's game is a beautiful game to watch, and I enjoy watching it. Like you can find a girl that's semi-athletic. She's gonna listen to everything you say. She's gonna do everything the right way, and she is competing to make sure that you get that win. And I love the women's game. But we need more viewership from females. We need more males to be involved with that side of the game so that you guys can get your sponsorship dollars up.
I agree.
You know, and got to attend these games. If you guys don't attend the games or whatnot.
I'm going to tell you right now, I was looking because Atlanta Dreams tickets went on sale today. They already almost sold out.
Yeah.
They going quick. I think it's getting there.
It definitely is. It definitely is getting there. And then you got to think about it. It's going to be the creativity. It's going to be the fundamentals of the game. And it's going to be, you know, close games. And then it's going to be a last-second shots on a lot of these games. People are really going to have to tune in and watch these games because they are great games.
Yeah, March Madness. I'm Team LSU all day, but you know they got some dogs playing this year. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's gonna be some good games. But who you got to win for the women's side?
The women's side, you know, I think it's gonna be South Carolina again.
South Carolina.
Yeah, I think so. I think just. She's recruited so well in every position, and if she can get them to come together as one unit towards the end of the season, I think it's a well-oiled machine.
Well, y'all know who I pick, LSU, but you know there'll be a good game to see LSU versus South Carolina. Yeah. I don't think Texas should have been. They shouldn't have won against us. But if Anissa Morrow never got hurt, that'd have been a whole different thing. If Flage would have been playing, we'd definitely beat them. But anyway, can you let the people know where they could find you, what you got going on, and
well, right now you can find me on Instagram at CBA Elite Group. I'm around the city in Decatur, and if anybody wants some training, mentorship, advice, you know, I have kids call me all the time saying, "Hey, my eligibility is up. I'm thinking about going this route. I'm thinking about going to this school." I can give you advice on those types of things, just life in general. But I'm around. You can find me. Look me up on Instagram.
Hit him up on Instagram. Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Well, of course, I'm going to see you this summer. But I'm going to get, once I finally get everything situated, I'm going to get Brandon to come back or whatever. I'm trying to get Corlan to come, but, you know, it's like pulling
you know, they hit me up all the time, say, "Coach, I'm coming to see you." All right.
Never show up.
Never show up.
That's how these kids be. But this your girl, Lady J. I'd like to thank y'all for watching. Peace to you.